I'm back with another 3D era emulation video here. But this is not just like specifically gameplay, it's about a specific theme of Mortal Kombat. Deception and Unchained here. I'm on the Unchained version just because more characters. And basically this is about chess combat and just why I think this is the peak of Mortal Kombat. This mode, it's so fucking good. It is such a good mode, and it's criminal how it's not a thing in later games. You know, I'm basically just going to be gushing about this mode, and there's a lot to talk about, and I think I want to record me playing this, and it's better if I use an emulator rather than my actual 360 save, just because I can actually get a screen capture. But apologies that, you know, the screen is covered by the actual controls, touchscreen controls. With the Unchained, I can't really sort that. I consider doing just a regular Deception one, but I wanted to mix it up. So for starters here, chess combat, a nice benefit is you don't need 2-player to select an arena. Which is unbelievable how that has to be said as a little bonus. That should just be a default thing you can do, but it actually took into Mortal Kombat X, took into 2015, you know, over 20 years of the franchise being around, for them to realise that they should have a versus mode against CPU. Basically, there's versus mode, and that is essentially the equivalent exhibition. You pick a character, picks a character of any costume you want, and any stage you want. Problem is, that's not a luxury with the CPU, which is quite unfortunate. But with Deception, why I like it the most is because it has the extra side content. More so than the other 3D games, I feel. Armageddon kind of follows in this game's footsteps, with its own conquest mode, although I wouldn't call it anywhere near as fun, personally. Even though that one's more gameplay oriented instead of like story based and exploration based, like proper combat and stuff. I just don't like that beat 'em up style of game. Again, I don't even like Shaolin Monks. I think that's an incredibly overrated game, and I can't believe that people praised that game so much when it was during the 3D era. Like, it's nowhere on the level of the actual main games, and it's my least favourite spin-off. I get more enjoyment from literally the core gameplay of Special Forces, and especially Mythology Sub-Zero. I made a whole video on why Mythology Sub-Zero is the best spin-off, in my opinion. But that's a side matter. The point of this video is, in my opinion, again, but this time, is that chess combat is just the best mode in Mortal Kombat. So you can select any of the chessboards, and the neat little gimmick here is they're all classic stage remakes. With this game, any of the stages that came up from the arcade era of games, they remain to like it's a 3D space though, but it's more simple. It's just like a cube space, and that's because it like reflects a chessboard. As you see here, the chess combat preview has it as a chessboard. It doesn't actually look like that in game. Well, in the actual fights, in game it does. You do have your own little chessboard. Although it does still look different to this, so never mind. But yeah, and each one has like a unique background as well, so it's really quite cool actually. But that's the thing, they're kind of backgrounds, because unlike other 3D era stages, at least in Deception Armageddon, these ones don't have any like environmental interactions. There's been Portal, Deadpool, and Courtyard. No, not Deadpool, no. Let me phrase. Courtyard, Living Forest, and Portal, they have no like interactables. The pit and the Deadpool, they have death traps surrounding the little square space, so I will be going with one of them. I'll go with the pit for this video. So yeah, another charm here is you can randomize. Making randomized teams is really cool, or just making your own like team comp. I will be randomizing for this video just cause, which is up, and whatever your the X equivalent button is, A or whatever. It's like on Xbox, PlayStation, PSP. The GameCube version actually has a designated randomize button in the middle, which is quite nice. But yeah, it's very cool. I know nothing about actual chess, you know, but like the pieces they kind of represent like actual chess pieces. Like obviously the leader is the queen, basically. So yeah, they all do different purposes. They all serve different things. Another thing here is you can save the team to your profile, and you can overwrite that whenever you want. So again, that's also a cool thing. I believe if you save your team when you go to online, you could automatically go to that team you want. And now we got the chat thing. There is so much to talk about this mode. It's crazy. Now the fake trap just triggers the sound effect. And then when you set a trap, it makes the same sound effect, but it's different. You typically want to place it like in one of the champion slots, and then yeah, it's set there, but you can still move the thing. So to try and trick your opponent there. Now it is on a time limit. So what I'm going to cover here is I will show you what the individual character types do. But there's a few things to cover as well, like spells, which is what the sorcerers do. So here you've got a variety of things. The blue ones are stuff that helps your allies, and this is like attack stuff. One of your sorcerers does one, as you can see, the diary of fire here, and the one with the blue magic is doing the blue thing, and I've swapped the wrong one and to the wrong piece because I put it on the other side. I was thinking there, so I don't remember. But that's a perfect example to show what a shifter does. It will shift wherever it engages in battle. It will just shapeshift into wherever the opponent is. But there is still a point to who you pick as the shifter. As in a rare case, it's not too rare, but in the case that you know you encounter, I'm gonna lose. Fuck. I haven't played fucking 3D or Katana in ages. Okay, thank you. That's why I'm on the death traps. See, death traps do work for the ones that have it. They do work here. You get coins. You get gold and silver coins in this mode. So that's the thing with the coins. But hold on. I'm getting ahead of myself. Well, I was trying to explain that that fight was a bit intense. I know you fucking lost. I have to use a heal spell. So there's a lot of strategy going on here. Basically, what you want to pick the shifter still, even though it's shapeshifting to other people. If you have a shifter as a shifter, then they just stay as the characters they are. So there's a reason to pick an actual character, although it's not as important as the other ones. You know, sorcerers also aren't that important. In terms of who you're picking, I'd argue they're less important because you do not want your sorcerers to get involved in any fighting. You want to protect them, and the AI doesn't often go for sorcerers. And I do have a lot of positive stuff to say about the AI, particularly like just as a whole in the free Deception, especially. You know, they had to make 5 difficulties for 3 completely different AI types. Because when you go to the options, you have the combat AI, the chess AI, and also the puzzle AI, which is obviously its own thing, the little Tetris mode, puzzle combat. Now, chess combat, yeah, it's not just affecting like the difficulty, like the regular combat. It affects the AI in the actual chess stuff. It becomes more intelligent. It makes more logical moves, and there's this whole speed running side to things. And this is why I feel like I know what the fuck I'm on about when I talk about this game, because I have 2 world records in chess combat, and there's various categories, and there's some cool things. Like, there's so much to cover here, so I'm just going to cut to a video and then we'll get back to the gameplay. Now, in my old videos, you know, there's a time on my channel where I just post speedrun stuff and some other clips, because I was kind of done making videos, and that changed like last year-ish. So I was doing a lot of speedruns in like 2021, and, you know, this actually was a big part of it, and my favourite speedrun is chess combat, and I have the max difficulty world record. Now, there's 2 categories for this action I will show you before we jump into this video. I took a screenshot and it basically provides you with all the information you need here. This is on speedrun.com. That's where speedruns are posted. And a reason I do my speedruns on the actual hardware is because, you know, as long as you can make out the contents of the video, it's fine, you know. I don't need like to screen record or anything. So when I post speedruns, it's more so to verify them rather than me making content. So that's why I'm not really concerned about like it not being screen recorded or whatever, because you can still tell what the content is. And the other reason is you're not allowed to use phone emulators for any of the 3D era games, which makes sense because they're inconsistent as fuck, so I get it. But that's why I haven't like speedrun other games, because there's actually one I properly own, because I don't have an original Xbox, so I can't get deadlines. And for some reason, Armageddon is rare as fuck in the UK. Although I'm not like as interested in those games, just because you don't have the side modes, and also Armageddon, even though it's such a good roster, you check the leaderboard, it is just Goro. Goro dominates so hard. And it's funny actually, because Goro is the meta character for Deception speedrunning. The exclusives tab, if you go there, the runs on the exclusive side will all use Goro, and they actually turn out faster runs. My run is still faster than a few of them, but like the very fastest chess combat playthrough is not mine. But in my specific category, I do have the world record. And this is the reason it's separated is because exclusive characters are obviously not on other versions. So I can't use Goro in my run per se, so I have to use the base roster guys. And there's also standard. Now, the 3-hour speedruns, they start out as, and I think they still are in Armageddon, maybe Deadlines' cases, they start out as, you could only play them on max difficulty, which is kind of unfair. You know, I have way too many hours in these games. You know, I have so much knowledge of playing them, and I fucking struggle with max difficulty, because max difficulty is inherently bullshit. And I think that's fine, because hard difficulty offers a more reasonable challenge, where the AI isn't just like screwing you over blatantly. It doesn't feel like cheap AI. And that's why I do like the 3D era AI more than the other games, just because you do have that range. You have that range of like old Mortal Kombat bullshit, but you can scale it back as far as you need to. Novice difficulty and easy difficulty, they are actually quite easy, you know. Normal difficulty, I think, offers like a casual challenge. It still feels quite challenging for me. Well, it depends on characters, really. From my experience on them. Chess combat, I do actually play on max, though. So when I say max, it's like BS. That's more so on the regular combat side, and also puzzle combat's a whole other thing. Chess and regular combat, there's still similarities because you have the regular combat within chess combat. And it's weird because how the difficulty works in combat is it's based on a percentage thing, and because we can't see the actual percentage number, but basically the percentage number would increase after each fight, which I think is a very good system for towers. I don't know why they stopped doing that. Mortal Kombat 9, you fucking suck. But chess, it's more of like a set difficulty. So it does impact the combat. You know, like if you pick max difficulty, you're gonna get max difficulty AI, but it's not like full 100% AI. It's more on a lower scale of AI. Again, I don't know the specifics. I can't really find out. Maybe if you dug into the files, you can find out that specific stuff. I don't think so though. I have no clue. But it definitely does change based on the difficulty. So max feels more fair, especially when there's factors besides just regular combat. So I could get like fucked up a bunch, and it's fine because you're still using strategies to try and make a comeback. And the max difficulty AI is actually quite smart. You know, it's beat me quite a few times. I've played chess combat so much that I kind of know how to always win. There's a lot of stuff. All right, I will show the speedrun and why it's actually quite easy to win chess combat. You know, it's a risk-reward thing, the system. And I will show how I can have records that are sub a minute, you know, 54 seconds here, with the load time 1 minute 10 seconds. Which actually, I just had 4. I've gone a 70-second run twice. I've got 2. I don't know what the time of the second one is without load times. I'll show you the runs though. Here we are. That's about using my fucking tablet as my timer. So you know, you set it up, you set your team up. A thing you have to do with runs is show your settings, obviously. I prefer to do it after I go to the options. Although I think I probably decide on doing that later with runs, because then it's easy to like reset and just jump back into it. So that if you have a successful run, then you show the options instead of showing the option at the start of every video, even though it might be a run you're not going to submit. But yeah, basically you start and you do an exchange like I did, but I fucked it up because I got the wrong placement because I was talking. To exchange it, I don't put the trap down though. And there's a whole reason for it. Basically, the enemy has the same spells as you, and they can do stuff like teleporting you onto a trap they have, or just outright like, yeah, putting you on a trap. You use a champion because then you can't just be killed like a spell, and also that's just your strongest one. It makes sense. Anyway, so that's why you do exchange, because it keeps them at full health. Anyway, and the trap will just take time away because there's a whole animation for it, and then your champion who you exchange is just going to get attacked twice, and again at risk of getting killed. So how I got the record here was I did the teleport thing, and you see I do actually fuck up there. That's the whole thing. I'm the first like sword strike I go for, it's just out of reach. I was hoping he'd move forward. He didn't. And I had to use a breaker, then hit another attack to get him into the death trap. And this is why I think the death traps are more suitable. I don't know. I think the Deadpool one's faster. That doesn't really matter for this category with the death traps, just because the run ends when you got the leader, you know, like the animations counters, load time or whatever. I'm not sure about the Annihilation speedrun, and I will get into that at a later point. There is a lot to talk about with this mode. It is so in-depth. There's a reason why everyone who's played this mode, like developing and understanding the mode, there's a reason why it's universally beloved. It's such a damn good mode. And I wanted to focus a good chunk of the time in this video to the speedrunning side, because speedrunning's not talking about much in Mortal Kombat. The 3D era run, the Deception's definitely like the most popular, probably, for a time. I feel, at least in the community, a small community there is. Outside of like the spin-off games. Spin-off games quite probably, except Special Forces, are like 4 runs on that. But yeah, I'll show you your run here. And here you are, 1 minute 10 second run again. And I don't know if this run is better or not. I'm really not actually sure. That's something I should check. I should also probably rename these, because the time about loading, that wasn't in consideration beforehand. I'm glad it is now, because people have different load times, of course. Particularly between different systems. But on the same system, you can have a range of load time. It can be inconsistent on consoles themselves, you know, all that stuff. Mine seems to be relatively quick, so that's cool, I guess. But yeah, but because that run I have submitted as the world record, it's not like the perfect run. If someone cared to, they could absolutely just take over this. And I don't even get to talk about why I have Melina as my leader. It's because her teleport kick, it's very good for spamming on the AI. It's consistently good. And you might want to mix up with a throw. I think I do this in my runs. It's been a while. But yeah, you just spam them. And yeah, just to make sure I get it, I did the throw. And that's that. That felt the fastest to me, at least the most consistent. Because that's the thing, you know, these are very good AI, they can counter your shit, whereas they're just consistently kind of stumped, which is handy. I've seen people do some cool shit with Darius. I think Darius is another good option, and no one's actually done what I've done with Dairu, which is surprising, because I really do think this sort of... Now, I managed to hit at that time, but there was a breaker, which is why, you know, there's some luck to it there, in hoping they don't use a breaker, of course. But yeah, that is essentially the strategy I have. You use Melina, spam teleport kicks. With Dari, you want to back away to the edge of the death trap and do the teleport thing, and then hit him into the death trap after that. With the Autumn Down, preferably, because that has extra range. So that's why I use that in particular. But yeah, I have not seen other runners use Dairu. I think something... This isn't like a heavily contested speedrun. There's like 4 submissions on the categories. A few more depending on which version of it. But yeah, Dairu's just not used. Which I think is a missed opportunity. I think with speedruns in general, I think death traps I think people overlook massively. I think they can be major time savers. And I think this run really does show. I need to figure out if this runs faster than the other one. And if so, then by how much? I don't know. I'm not going to figure it out this video. I don't want to waste any more of your time. But yeah, that's something cool. Let me show you what the Annihilation run is, and then we'll get back to the regular gameplay. These are the Annihilation speedruns. This is for max difficulty, where I actually second place. I had a world record for it. I think I did 4 time, and then I think the run by Daiji here is more recent. I can't remember though. It has been a while. It's like 2021. But yeah, it's a much longer run. And basically what annihilation means is when there is an end screen after you beat chess, and it will show like some little statistics, like how many moves, how many pieces you have left, and so forth. And there's like a few hidden little sound effects that the announcer will say. They will say annihilation if you kill their entire team, and the other one is flawless if your entire team is still alive, which is quite fun. Trying to get those is a good challenge. There's no flawless speedrun just because there's not much difference there. You know, you're probably gonna try for a flawless run in all of them anyway. You know, the regular ones, like I don't die in a previous one, that counts as a flawless run. That's why that's not a category. Now, the standard one, high shadow record for, I did it recently. I was, it was to get prepared to go back to speedrun the max one, and I forgot to do that. I kind of dropped it. But yeah, this is a more recent one, which I just about eked it out with by about 10 seconds, which, you know, I'm quite happy with. You know, 2 Chess Kombat World Records. It's cool. Now, I have not actually submitted a run for the standard version of the regular version of Chess Kombat, which is just kill the leader as fast as possible, win the game as fast as possible. And that's because there is a major difference, and I think it just makes it a grind. It's not fun to do that run, and it all falls down to the AI. You know, in my runs here, I do the exchange, then they fight the leader, meaning I have to go through 2 battles. It's not just I go to the leader and trigger a fight. One thing you can do is you can actually teleport onto someone else's space, and that triggers a fight, but you can't do that to the leader. That's why you do exchange instead. And the reason it's 2 fights is because the max difficulty AI, being smart, it will typically go ahead and try to stop you. It will either try and stop you defensively, that being by teleporting you away or whatever. But more commonly, it's on the aggressive side. If it's at the leader, it's going to challenge the leader. It's going to fight it. Which made the runs more predictable, and thus you could actually strategize much better. What happens with the standard difficulty is on the lower difficulty, I don't know if it's possible on easy or standard. The thing with standard is you can use any difficulty except for max, because then it just becomes a max run. So you can have like any rules you want, essentially. And logically, you want to go for novice difficulty. Although I do feel there's something about easy difficulty AI that can be faster in situations. I don't know. It's something I looked into a while ago. I'm not going to go into it at this point, but there's like specific little things, like little quirks that the novice CPU does that can actually slow you down. But when it comes to them in the chess combat speedrun, that's not really a factor. But why it's so different, and why the runs are like half the time, just all over, it's because sometimes, very rarely actually, I find, at least on Xbox, it could be a different thing. I don't think it is, though. I think it's just a very rare occurrence, which hasn't happened to me when I was trying to run that category. And basically, because the novice AI is obviously less smart, what it can do sometimes is ignore your exchange completely. Which will mean they might like move a piece, just a completely unrelated piece. They might move it somewhere, and thus it doesn't engage a fight, and then their turn's over real quick, and that allows you to challenge the leader. I don't like that because it's not consistent. You're relying pretty much entirely on luck to get to the leader fight, and then beat the leader. If that would happen to me, if I could trigger that, I feel like I could definitely get the record there. because I don't think like the runs there that get to leader, they don't beat the leader in like exceptionally quick fashion. It's very beatable again. However, it doesn't happen often. What the AI does on a lower difficulty, it's a bit more defensive, which actually can make it harder to do a run, I feel, because you can do your exchange strategy, and unlike the max difficulty where they'll attack the leader, allowing you easy access to the leader right after their turn, they are more likely to do what I said before and just teleport you to a death spot or whatever, or just fight you twice. It's actually quite harder when it comes to speedrunning. And again, to get that optimal run, you need to have the AI be fucking stupid and not challenge your first move. And that's why I don't particularly like that run. So there's just a little fun fact, I guess, about, and it does highlight how different the AI can be, how it functions, not just in regular combat, but chess as well, which is quite impressive, because that's like 3 entirely different types of AI that are being altered, scaled for 5 individual difficulties. I think that's a really cool thing, but that is me being an IT nerd there. But yeah, back to speedrunning, and if you, I feel I mentioned this now, that's just come to my head. If you saw that my thing said X360, you know, Xbox 360, by the platform I use in my runs, that is true. I use it on Xbox 360, and I feel that's worth bringing up, because it took me years to realize that these were backwards compatible on 360. So I like to reiterate that. That, yeah, you can get them and they do work on 360. Not Deadly Alliance, though. And that's why I don't have it. Which is a shame. And very weird, actually. Why not just have all the 3D era games be backwards compatible? I don't know. But yeah, it works on 360. So, cool. We're back with the gameplay, though, after that little detour. I haven't even explained everything yet. I kind of jumped into that a bit soon. I apologise, but I figured when you go through, like, you look at it, you can tell the basics. The speedrun's very basic in what it is, you know. There's a lot more specifics here, like, I know they protect the sorcerer. I forgot I put him there. That was a very dumb play for me, but there are these little glowing green spaces here, and they give you power. And basically give you a health bonus for your characters, which is significantly important, because your type of character has different, like, health amounts. You know, the shifter is like half their health, the sorcerer is like 20% of their health, 25 maybe. The leader is the only one that actually starts with its full health, and when you're on the block, you're at your full health always. Which makes trying to dethrone them quite difficult. Like, now I've got the 2 blocks, I'm basically unstoppable. You know, if you're like playing this game, you're like trying to beat the CPU or whatever on like a hard difficulty. I'm playing on medium. This is a medium run, pretty chill. And yeah, resurrection spell can just bring a type of enemy back, including champions. Which is quite important. That's what you should probably save them for, because you don't have 2 champions. And just brings them back, which is helpful for you. And I'll show you a little something here. You would tank sorcerer, and as you can see, the sorcerer has very little health. You know, they need to stay out of conflict. And look, power cell bonus plus 25, plus 25. Which means you're going to be at like 100% a lot of the time. The champions will be, if they just have 1 block, I think. Anyway, I beat you. And I get more silver coins. You get more silver and gold coins, depending on your difficulty, which I have an absurd amount on my 360 account, because you get so many. It's so easy to farm gold and silver coins in chess combat. If you can stomach the max, like, combat CPU, you're in chess, then I would definitely recommend, like, if you're trying to complete the crypt real quick or whatever, and you need, like, the coin type. Although gold coins especially you'll probably get plenty of. Silver coins are less plentiful because you can't get them in regular combat. So that's the whole thing. There's like exclusive coin types. And I haven't played these characters in a while, actually. But I'll pause the game to sing on what I'm gonna say, because the fighting distracts me. But basically, when you're trying to complete a crypt, you want to get the coins, or you just want to get more coins. You know, something I find really fun is just trying to max my coin count, which I'm trying to figure out what the max is. I think it ends at 99999, like, which is one before a million. I don't think it goes to 7 digit. I think there's only space for 6. But I haven't actually reached that point. I'm in like a few 100,000 for all of them at this point, except Onyx. Onyx is the hardest because it's only in puzzle combat, excluding Conquest. Conquest, you can get all the coins. That's why it's the best coin method. And actually, a little thing I do whenever I replay Conquest is I get the coins and then I do verses. I connect my 2 controls and I connect to their accounts, and there's like a whole wager system which also applies to chess combat. Wagering, that was a thing, and even online is a thing where you wager coins, which can be any amount, and then yeah, whoever wins gets that amount of coins. So you could basically just transfer the coins to your account, and so if you do more Conquest saves, you can keep bringing them back to your main account, you know. So if you care about getting your coin count up, there's some little tips for you. Silver coins you get in puzzle and chess. Gold is in combat and chess, which is why they're the easiest to come across because they're in both of those. Whereas silver's harder because it's not in regular combat. And yeah, regular combat also has like sapphire, ruby and jade coins. So the more you know, and you get like various amounts depending on difficulty and what the thing you're fighting is. And yeah, you might also notice the movement's different. So like the grunts, you can move like diagonal, but only by 1. But you can move forward an extra space or back, or sorry, if there's room to do so, of course. Whereas with the shifters, they can jump around a decent range. You know, like that's quite far. The champions can just go like full range. Like, you can't really see there because Cabal's in the way, but you can. The leader can only move 1 space. I need to heal her. And sorcerers, they can move 2 spaces, but they can't go diagonal. So yeah, that's an interesting little thing. And because I did kill the orange sorcerer, that means all that orange spells, their attack spells essentially, they're all gone now. They cannot access them. Whenever you use a spell, it gets crossed off. If your sorcerer dies, then all the spells on that they could do are gone. And I'll just show you them all, you know. There's not much reason to do so in Prism. You see like little bars. There's a cool loading screen where Cobra and Dairu have that. Dairu's in bars, I think. Oh wait, no, they're just fine. I can't remember. But there's one with the little bars, and they're imprisoned for, I think it's 3 turns. We'll see. But basically, it keeps them in place, but you can't fight them. So it's kind of useful in like specific scenarios. It's definitely not the best spell, but it does have its uses, absolutely. Like if you want to hold them off from, like, say, your sorcerers, as the enemies did actually at Sardis, then you absolutely can. But yeah, I mean, keep in mind, they're stuck there. They can stay there as long as they like. What the what the hell? I did not expect that. I was confused by how high I went. I didn't realize I was up against the trap. I've been outplayed. And they've got the power space now, so they get some health of their own. So that's cool. What should I do here? I guess I could try and challenge her. They are a grunt, but it doesn't matter at that point, just because they get their full health. Yeah, as you can see. What does matter is they keep the same amount of breakers, though. That's another thing that I didn't even mention, is there's a range of how many breakers you get. So like grunts only have 1 breaker. A shifter here only has 2. I can't remember how many the sorcerers have. The champions have 3, I believe, and same for the leader. The leader is like full everything, which can make him a challenge to be like I find in like high difficulties, it often will take multiple attempts, like 2 or 3, you know. Oh, this is the most thing I meant. Yeah, I just wanted to know the imprisoned bars. That's another one. And oh my god, being a bit aggressive here. I don't play medium difficulty often, so I don't know how it compares to the others. I often play hard or max, but they're being quite aggressive, which is surprising. Let me just get my guard up, because this is getting out of hand. Oh, I forgot the inputs for the combo. I'm not going to pause. I will go with this. I was literally playing this not long ago, and I was getting like a fucking 48% combo, and that was on an actual controller though, so I guess that does often help. No. There we are. That's the only one I can like remember. That one sword combo. I don't know why. Oh yeah, there go the bars. You get a little sound effect as well. Resurrect. So that, you can see what you want and then you say the one you want. I'm not using that now because I've only had grunts die. Protect is kind of like a, you know, I will, just because I'm not using them right now, I just want to make sure they're okay. Which, that is definitely a weird thing here with the medium AI. They've just been kind of letting my champion back there chill out. They're not really contesting the fact that he's by the leader. Not even the champions are doing anything. The 2 are just been stood there. So, you know, of course, I recommend high difficulty AI, but of course, go your own pace, you know. Learn as you go. Of course, the character, like your actual combat skill, also a factor, you know. So, rush. If anything, I'm ready. The protect spell kind of works like in prison, except it's you willingly wanting that defense, to just stay in that place. And in prison, a major strategy actually with it is how you utilize it at the start of battle. Where typically the higher difficult ones, and I kind of fucked up showing that because I did the weird exchange thing where I go straight into the enemy lines. They usually, when we've done grunts that are facing the thing, like at the end by the green things, and they will get ready to go towards the one closest to him, because there's one close to you, one close to the enemy. But you can like strategize ways to get to your, and I've found like some really intense battles over for that placement in higher difficulties. And the imprison spell helps a lot here. Why are we auto-saving? What's happened? That was interesting. I guess that's an Unchained quirk there. But imprison is really important for that thing. Because you can imprison whatever enemies like approaching the one thing. So it'll take 2 turns, because your grunts can't move far enough ahead. Oh, I got to see where I was going now. You know, with the right stick, you can actually change the angle of where the gesturing is. But I think the default camera angle is fine. But you can like fully control how the view is. But I've messed up the movement now. I do have like a record button that's kind of in the way though. So That's probably why. I have some pokes there. But yeah, when you go in prison, then they're in the way of like your shifter going through. One way, like besides just getting your grunt to walk over, is you move him out the way of your shifter that's behind him when you start, and then they will essentially be able to jump onto the space. You can jump far enough. So if you want to shift it there, you can also do that. That's also 2 turns. You can't do it in 1 turn. So like, say you make the first move, get prepared to go on your side, or whatever, and then nothing you could do. I'm going to get ready because I think it's Asher's going to attack. To get ready is basically imprison him, and then not even their shifter can jump in because they're like a wall, they can't jump over. So that's cool. And yeah, you can place where they go. It has to be in like your side though, your back rows, for that. So keep that in mind. You can't just jump back in when you do resurrection, but you have to save it for a champion, as you can see. Yeah, so that's why I think in prison's most useful for doing that. And look, they had no downstrings. I thought it crossed out, but no, the spells just disappear. You can't see them when they die. And they've teleported me onto their trap. The medium difficulty AI is pulling out some of the pro strats. Holy shit. And yeah, they're dead. They're dead. Well, I'm glad I got to see that. I'm glad I got to show you that. That's the little animation I mentioned. So yeah. Another thing is teleport. At the start, you can like teleport. You can't teleport on the placements. That's not allowed, but like you can teleport anywhere else, really, except on the leader slots. And that means you can like teleport one of your guys in front of their power space, them on their side, and then you can just back up into it, you know. So there's ways to just claim both spots, even if like the AI is going for one of them, which typically they will unless you do what I did and just fuck with them. So yeah, that's a little something. Now sacrifice, we have some sacrifice, but I don't think I will in this match. And this actually helps the team. It doesn't involve attacking enemies, you know, it's the orange one, but it can harm. And you know, basically what you do, there's a spell, it kills one of your guys to heal another. It's like a last resort heal, because it does the same as healing. It's like restores them, but it's at the cost of another one of your guys. Use that on grunts, but as I showed, you can do it to other classes as well. I don't know about champions actually, I don't know, but yeah, that's the thing. And their shifters coming over. They're making a play now. But here's the thing: you can just kill them. Yep, that's a thing. They're dead. The animation looked pretty scuffed on PSP, but yeah, whatever. That's funny. But yeah, they can go quite far diagonally. Shifters. So yeah, that's the thing you can do. You can only do it once again. Like none of your spells come back. There's a one-time use for all 8 of them. A thing you can do teleport is just teleporting on your death spot as well. You can exchange someone and put them on the death trap, as I mentioned earlier. Your little trap thing. So that's always fun. Oh, little poke there with the hammer. I'm not used. Oh yeah, that's the managed to do it, and I fucked myself over there. I was like, how do I do the shoulder bash? It's triangle, right? Cool. I've lost the place again. that doesn't matter. What spells have I got left? I've got teleport. Right. You know what? Let me show you what I mean. And the thing is, unlike kill can only kill grunts and shifters, so you want to do it to a shifter, totally. But teleport, you can do it to champions. You can teleport the enemy, you can teleport yourself. And yeah, exchange also, again, you can exchange with anyone except sorcerers and leaders. Leaders and sorcerers are basically immune to everything. Teleporting to a slot that sorcerers on is also an illegal move. You can't do that either. So yeah, that's, I think I've clarified everything there. There's a lot to the game, but you know, it's easy to get into though. Once you mess around with the spells a bit, the spells are definitely the most complex part. Everything else you can just like naturally tell from playing what's going on. Obviously there's like some little specific things like how the AI works and all that jazz. Oh, a little punch. Yeah, got the square, which is great. We are going to take on our leader, which is Cobra, and oh no, they're still going to try. They're still going to try. The Ashra army is not giving up here. Come on, Ashra! I've given the tutorial. It's time to end this one. But yeah, you can end these quickly. You can go for, you can have longer matches, as you can see here. Like if you go for annihilation, you know. And there is an incentive, that being obviously you get coins for each kill. So getting annihilation, you get more money. The more people you kill. Murder, yes, cool. So that's a thing. And yeah, it's obviously the unfortunate part is the crypt. You can complete. I completed like within a week. I got the game, and how I mention it, and I've only noticed now, which has made me complete it. So, player 2. I know it's quite late to point this out. And you haven't realised already. Player 2 will always have alt colours, so that's funky. That's quite cool. And oh my god, I have actually lost to him. What the hell? I was not anticipating that. I wasn't really focused. That's fine. I've got a lot of Cabals. I'm good with Cabal. And oh, typically when they lose a lot of guys, like say they lose their champions, this is a play they'll make, where the guys on the little squares will actually try and make a move, because who else will? Anyway, you're fucked. Rip bozo. But yes, what I was saying about the crypt, when you unlock stages, you unlock some of them. I think you have the pit and portal. I think you have the portal as well from the start. The other 3 you unlock by like buying stuff, or I don't know. I'm not sure if any of them are crypt keys, crypt key unlocks from Conquest, or if they're just coin purchases. I can't remember because it's been a while since I've completed the crypt. But recommendation I'd make if you don't care about 100%ing is not to get these stages and not to buy the chest combat stages that aren't already unlocked. And that's because basically that you can always select them in chess combat. You don't need to unlock to get access to them in chess combat. You can still go to the select thing, which is R, by the way, the right bumper, and you can select them anyway. So yeah, that's kind of weird. That's the thing. And the reason I suggest you don't get them is because when you unlock new stuff, it overwrites tower presets. What tower presets are is when you do your regular combat against the CPU, you have the towers. And if you've played 3D RMK for a while, you'll notice that they're not truly randomized. And I did the cool little combo there, 56%. And yeah, the thing is with that is because it's not truly randomized, they can overwrite like stuff entirely. And when it does that, and there's like 5 of the chess combat stages, and again the same little square thing, and it's quite important stages in 3D MK because they do affect gameplay. Is that it can override stuff, and that means you're going to play much, but that's not a problem for you. They do replace they actually do replace a couple stages. One is the pit itself. The pit itself just gets replaced. The other one is the Chamber of Artifacts, which is a pretty cool stage, which no longer appears once you unlock every stage. So yeah, that's the little thing. It's quite unfortunate. That's like honestly my biggest gripe with the VR games is the fact that the towers aren't truly randomized and there's no compensation in the sense that you can't do versus against AI. But again, that's I don't know if many people care about these specifics. I think in the topic of speedrunning, there's something to be said about picking out the optimal stage selection. I don't know what that would be, but it's whatever has the most death traps, I imagine. But here's the end screen I mentioned. You know, it shows the pieces they had left. I nearly got Annihilation. I didn't realize they had so few left. It shows how many matches they won, how many I won, how many spells they cast, how many, you know, trap deaths there were, and the total moves. So yeah, that does it for this video. I'm on an hour-long video. But yeah, there was a lot to talk about. So sorry if I rambled. I was focused on the game a lot. So I might have, you know, fucked up my explanations. But that was Chess Combat. I covered everything. Hold on, nope. I see Kira in the profile. Little detail. The Kira icon in the Chess Combat one doesn't look as good as the others, you see? That's because it's the wrong one. And even though you got these later ports, they never fix it. Look, big difference. So that's a little thing. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.